Dana White and Turki Alalshikh clearly have tension after Zuffa Boxing's first big event with Canelo and Terrence Crawford completely missing the mark online. I mean, this thing clearly is not getting well reception. I mean, a lot of people are not happy. Dana White and Turki agreed to start Zuffa Boxing earlier this year, and while at one point it seemed like the relationship was good and that this boxing promotion had a lot of positive energy towards it and it seemed like it was set up for success, it is clear that now Dana is not happy, and in my opinion, I think that this whole promotion is up in the air, and I would not be surprised to see if Dana White just says no more. I don't want any more of this. March 5th of this year, Dana White made the bold announcement that he'd be entering boxing, which is something obviously he has been teasing for a long time, but this was a bigger deal than ever because he was going to get funding by Turki, who obviously had been pouring a lot of money into boxing, paying for fights like Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk. He even started making some pretty good boxing events himself, Turki, so it only made sense that if he wanted to make this a sustainable business, he should bring in someone experienced like Dana White. So the relationship made sense. Dana had the experience, Turki had the money, and it seemed like it was set up for success. The deal for the promotion was made, and shortly after it was announced that Canelo and Terrence Crawford was going to be the first event on Netflix, which is a big deal. This was, this is the first time Dana White's doing anything on Netflix, especially now that we know UFC won't be on Netflix. But as we got closer to the event, it just seemed like the promotion was not there. Dana White was not bringing it. I expected maybe Dana to go out and try a little bit more, try to make this thing a big, a big show, right? But at most, we got a couple press conferences. We did get a little promo, but how much of that was Turki? We didn't really get so much promo. I was expecting more promo from Dana White. We really just got Instagram videos, and that was it. And I wonder if this kind of has anything to do with the tension between Turki and Dana, but we're going to talk about that later. Even during this period, people speculated, did Dana and Turki have some sort of falling out? Because Turki put out some weird tweet where he was talking about the promotion of Canelo versus Terrence Crawford, not mentioning Dana White, which was very weird, seeing Dana White is obviously going to be the most famous promoter of the whole thing, and he brings a lot of marketing value himself, so why wouldn't you mention him in the tweet? So it didn't make sense. It led people to believe maybe did Dana White stop being involved in this? Did he drop out? Did him and Turki have a falling out? Dana White even had to respond to these comments. He said that him and Turki were good, but we don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Turki made it seem like you weren't going to be promoting the Terrence Crawford-Canelo fight. Is there anything you can kind of clear up on that?
He made it feel like I wasn't?
Yeah, well, he said that someone else was promoting it. He didn't say no TKO. He just didn't include your name in a tweet, and people kind of freaked out online about like where'd Dana go.
Turki was pretty big on making it clear that you would be the head promoter, and then he did say actually you were going to be head promoter, and they didn't have a broadcaster, and then it was actually Sella's going to promote it, and it's going to be DAZN pay-per-view, Ring Magazine, all of that stuff. I guess what exactly happened in the last couple of weeks?
I don't really know. Listen, we're at work at UFC headquarters. I'm in my own little world, man. I don't pay attention to any of that shit. I know what's going on. I know what we're doing, and I don't really pay attention to that stuff. It doesn't matter to me.
What was the last conversation you had with Turki like, and how often are you guys in communication?
Shit, I don't even remember the last time I talked to him, but
that can't be good.
We're good. It's very good. No, we're very good.
Thank you.
All right.
And then things really heated up on Thursday at the press conference when Turki Alalshikh said that Dana White should make an announcement live at the press conference for the whole crowd, the whole audience, anticipating now Dana to say something to Dana White to then just completely ignore Turki and end the press conference abruptly.
There is big surprise from Dana White. He will announce it now.
Thanks for coming out tonight, everybody. We appreciate it. We're going to face these guys off for photo ops. We'll see you at the weigh-ins.
Whatever this announcement was, Dana didn't want it to be said. Whether it was not ready, whether it was something that he didn't want to be said. Personally, I wonder if this had anything to do with the fact that there's going to be a WWE event in Saudi Arabia, and I wonder if that was the announcement that he wanted to make or have Dana White make. And we know Dana White typically doesn't want to get involved in this WWE business, even though, they share the same parent company. They're kind of forced to be together, but he clearly doesn't really want to give them as much promotion as, Zuffa Boxing or anything else. But we get to the main event, and I think this is where the whole thing started to fall apart. You see a lot of people online complaining, people all around started just, I think, falling off. They started falling asleep. They started just losing interest, turning it off, because these walkouts, the pacing overall to this event was really bad. A long time in between these fights, way too long for my liking. I was really excited to see the pacing for this boxing event. I was really excited to see what Dana White was going to do differently, and it really just felt like a regular boxing event, if not honestly worse. Like, there's been better boxing events than this. Like, this really felt like a fall off, which is something that I would not have expected in a million years. I really had high hopes for the pacing. I really had no worries at all that this was going to be a good show. You know, obviously you wonder about the fights, but I figured this would be a good pace, but we couldn't even get that, honestly. So the walkouts themselves, though, that was the worst, because these walkouts were completely way too long, which we know Dana White hates walkouts. So we know this is not Dana White's doing. We know that Dana White hates the pacing. We've heard him complain in the past. Here's a clip of him talking about it literally last November.
Again, last night, boxing, right? These guys will do a fight, then have a fucking podcast for an hour and 30 minutes before the next fucking fight comes on.
I mean, the walkouts were just weird, long. I feel like a lot of people lost interest. And then the fight happens, and the fight simply didn't deliver. It wasn't, you know, to the level of, you know, how many people were watching, right? Let's be honest. A lot of casuals are watching. They want a big fight. They want a knockout. They want an interesting fight, and that fight was not that. It was technical. I enjoyed the fight. I personally don't think the fight was, like, incredibly boring. I thought the fight was decent. Like, I don't think it was... I've seen worse. I've seen worse Canelo fights too. I think Canelo didn't bring it. I think Canelo just... I think Crawford was too fast, and that was something I was wondering about. Seeing Crawford was from a lighter weight class. How was Canelo going to deal with the speed? Clearly not well. Clearly that's what, you know, messed him up, I think. I think that was just, you know, which caused Canelo to be hesitant and not go forward and not be able to press because he was afraid of getting countered. But, you know, that's a side note, right? This fight just didn't deliver for fans, and I think the biggest red flag of this whole thing, Dana White did not show up to the post-fight press conference, which that's a big statement. Dana White probably was not happy because this event did not stick the landing. I don't want to say it was terrible, but I mean, it kind of was terrible. It kind of was bad, but I don't know. I feel like terrible might be too strong, but it definitely did not deliver. We wanted to see boxing change. We wanted to see, you know, a brand new format. You know, we've seen boxing fail. We've seen terrible boxing event, time and time again with, even if it's great fights, we love the fights. It's the event themselves. It's the promotions themselves. And this was an opportunity for Dana White to really showcase what the future of boxing could be. And after tonight, I wonder, is there a future in boxing? I mean, seriously, like, this is yet another massive L for boxing because Jake Paul has been, like it or not, the casual face of boxing, really. In the United States especially. I mean, in England, it's probably a different story, but in the United States, it really is like Gervonta Davis. I mean, it's Jake Paul. I mean, there's probably Tyson Fury. Yeah, he's also a really big name. Deontay Wilder was big, but he's not even fighting anymore. This is a massive L. Yeah, again, because we had Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, which once again drew in a lot of people on Netflix, which is a big spotlight for boxing. It did not deliver. Then we had this fight, which was also a huge spotlight on boxing. It also did not deliver. Like, we're seeing time and time again where these fights are not delivering, where we're seeing, even in UFC, honestly. Like, I mean, Hamzat and Dricus du Plessis had so much hype, and then the fight itself did not deliver. I mean, tell me, no casual is going to enjoy that fight. That's just the case. I don't think the fight was terrible. It's Hamzat Chimaev grappling. It wasn't the most entertaining, yes, but I'm not going to cry about it, but definitely no casual is going to, you know, enjoy. No casual is going to watch these fights and say, let me tune into the next one. That is a huge problem. That's why I wonder, you know, if there's a big boxing event, if there is the gimmick, when is the gimmick going to die? There's so many times where you're going to get these casuals to say, I'm going to tune into this boxing event. It's so big, I got to tune into it, because they're going to say, you know what? I'm sick of it. It's just going to be two guys, you know, barely going at each other, just trying to get a paycheck, and there's going to be just a decision, and who knows who's going to win. It's going to be boring. That's how boxing is going to die. And Dana White and Turki, their relationship is vital to making boxing live, because Dana White, I think, can save boxing. I don't even know, honestly. I think Dana White, the truth be told, the problem here is Turki and Dana White are two guys that usually don't get told no. Turki has enough money to make things happen, and he's usually the guy, and especially when he's dealing in boxing, to say, hey, I want this done. This is how I want the event to be done. It gets done because he's paying for it. So there's no other anything to it. And Dana White in the UFC, same way. He is the boss. He's respected. Like, his word is the final word. Obviously, there's other bosses too, but he's a very important voice for the UFC. So if he wants something done, I'm sure he's usually not opposed most of the time, right? He usually runs the show. Turki's also used to running the show. So you have these two massive egos coming together, probably both thinking they could do it better. And I'm going to tell you this, Dana White 1000% knows how to do it better. Like, Turki should listen to Dana White. I understand Turki probably wants to do it his way. Maybe there is a chance for them to kind of collab, but this didn't feel like a collab. It really felt like this was mostly how Turki wanted the event and some of how Dana White wanted the event. I mean, it really didn't feel like Dana White had much say in this. And I do wonder, did Turki not... I don't think Turki's happy with Dana. I think the tweet itself was weird from months ago, and it's all making sense. In hindsight, you know, I remember when this thing got announced to me, I thought this was a done deal. I said, look, I think that this is going to be a huge success. I think Dana White's going to own boxing. I think boxing's going to be changed. Now I wonder if we're even going to see a second event. I'm seriously wondering that, guys. But there is some good news, I guess, on the Twitter account. They did upload this video kind of teasing more in 2026. So maybe there is going to be more, but I don't know. Can Dana White really just say, look, I'm out. He's not listening to me. This is pointless. This is something I just don't even want to do. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. You guys are the best fan-based MMA. Check out my last video where we talked about John Jones texting Dana White an apology and trying to get on the White House card. You guys are the best fan-based MMA. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. And I'll see you guys in the next one.